Good evening. Welcome to the Friday fly-in, Dublin to London. How's everybody doing tonight? Whilst we wait for Asobo to get their stream up and running in about 10 minutes, as you can see, we are here at Dublin waiting for them. I think let's do a bit of a pre-flight check. We'll do a circuit on the runway and we'll come back down. Make sure all of our systems are go. We are in the Beechcraft Bonanza tonight with about a cruising speed of about 360 knots. Should be perfect for the sightseeing tour that we are planning today. I have turned off stress damage on the aircraft, so we might try some stunts and things as well, because it's more a sightseeing trip today. Let's get up and run that circuit. V1. Rotate. Gear up, flaps up. I think I need to move my head down a bit on this aircraft. I've turned it up for the Cessna Longitude I've been test flying this week. It's a fun aircraft and I've been getting used to all the controls, but I wasn't comfortable taking it on the stream tonight because it's not particularly manoeuvrable for a sightseeing flight. Okay, let's do a left turn out onto crosswind. I can reduce that power back a bit. Trim down. We'll turn on to downwind now. A bit more. So yeah, this week, whilst I've not been streaming, I've been learning the Cessna Longitude. I've been learning about area navigation, VNav, RNav, and how to fly the G3000, which is a really cool nav system by Garmin. So I will do a stream probably some point either this weekend or during the next week anyway, before the next Friday fly-in, where we'll take the Cessna Longitude for a flight. I've been kind of taking it round some of the capitals in Europe, which has been a fun learning experience as I get used to doing that. Everything seems good in this aircraft. T's and P's are good. This is going to be fine. So we are crabbing a little bit onto that runway. Let's just correct for that. Okay. Set descent power, take first flaps. Let's turn on to base. Gear down. Turn to final. We're showing a little bit high on final, which is good. Drop a bit. We'll slow that right down. So, gears down. We'll assume we're clear to land. You can see everybody getting ready on all the different runways. I overcorrected that a little bit. That's fine. Second stage of flaps. And as anyone who's been on my streams before knows, we are aiming for the second set of white markers, big squares, is our touchdown point there. These ones right here. That's our touchdown point. I'm comfortable with that. I think that went well. Park and brake on. Flaps set for takeoff. Let's see if the stream's up. Not yet. That was last week's stream. Let's not bring that up. So I'm going to keep it on pre-flight checks until the stream comes up, because anybody who's planning on joining the fly-in will know that we're just kind of doing some playing around right now. We've probably got time for another circuit, so why don't we do that? I also want to, actually, whilst I remember, it's not that one. I always forget where this is. Camera. I'll bring my height down a little bit for this aircraft. Maybe 60. Needs to be a little bit higher for the longitude. But this is probably fine. Yeah, that feels much more comfortable. Okay. Let's do one more circuit, and then we should be ready with Asobo. This time we'll do a right-hand circuit. Rotate. Gear up, flaps up. .1,000 feet. Let's start our turn onto crosswind. Put the power back. I think I've overshot that crosswind. Yeah, that or my runway is right underneath me. Let's have a look outside. How much did I screw that up by? Doesn't matter. We'll land on that one next to us anyway. I basically did a 180 when I shouldn't have, but we're keeping it tight anyway because we want to get down for this stream starting. Let's just see if they're back. They are up. I will mute them just now until the advert is finished. And let's do this. Engine failure. Oh, it's not coping well with that. So we are treating this as an engine failure approach. So we're keeping it tight, making sure we're going to make the runway before we put in the flaps. It's a massive runway, so the last thing we want to do is come down short on it. There's no problem if you over and you land a little bit further down this time, because you've just experienced an engine failure. Take the second stage of flaps. There we go, and we're down. That was beautiful. Apart from the fact that my computer started jumping all over the place, which is not supposed to happen with, I've got the beta sim update 15, so it's supposed to have better performance and less of those jumps, but maybe with live streaming and everything, it's a bit of a heavier load on the system. Let's bring up the Twitch stream. I need to tell it which window that is. There we go. And we'll bring in their audio. We'll turn off pre-flight checks. Because we have now completed our pre-flight checks. And we are waiting. We are lined up and waiting. The flight path today from Dublin to London has been pre-programmed into my Garmin G1000. Hopefully we'll be on the same path as everybody else tonight, or roughly, but because we're flying a small plane, we can do deviations and things. It's not as difficult as it would be on one of the airliners. Let's go ahead and set our cruising altitude at 1500 just now. We'll set a climb out rate of about 500 feet per minute. We'll set the nav to GPS, which will then allow me to set that to GPS. And it looks like we're good. I'm not going to use VNav tonight because we're going to be flying all over the place trying to look at points of interest and stuff. So throttles are good. Everything's good. Let's wait for Asobo to come online. Let's see what everybody else is doing. There's quite a few people now just lined up and waited at the start of the runway.
This stream is cleared for takeoff. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Fly Day. Welcome to another fantastic edition of Community Fly-In Friday World Tour Stage 7 this week. I'm your host, Community Manager for Microsoft Flight Simulator CDL, and it's my great pleasure to be joined by three fantastic guests who fly from Ireland, across the Wales, and England today. Starting a member of our usual panel, we have Peter. Welcome back, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
And one of our favorite English flight sim streamers, very appropriate, she is joining us as we fly across her home country. We have Alison Johnson. Welcome, Alison.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back. Hello, everyone.
Right, always a pleasure to have you with us, Alison. And last but certainly not least, it only seemed appropriate since we are departing from Ireland today that we bring in the absolute greatest Microsoft Flight Simulator Irish Twitch streamer and YouTuber. You know him, you love him. We've got Two-Tone Murphy joining us for, as we were discussing before we went live, the first time in a while that we've had Murph on the stream. So welcome back, Murphy. Always a great time whenever you're here.
Thank you so very, very much indeed. Happy Friday, everybody. We're here to make sure, we get out of Irish airspace in one piece. And I'll be looking after things here on the ground and we'll get flying. But yeah, come fly with us. Happy Friday, and it's great to see everyone.
All right. As always, every Community Fly-In Friday is an open event. Welcome available to all players, all skill levels, all platforms. We're a very relaxed and chill group here. We're not judging anyone's flying skills or anything like that, except mine and Peter's, of course. Feel free to grade our landings on a very harsh curve. But if you would like to fly along, !fly in the chat. That'll give you a link to all the details on how you can join us. We are on the Southeast Asia server, so make sure you choose that from your multiplayer drop-down list, and also make sure you have all players mode selected from the multiplayer options, or else you won't be able to see all the wonderful people who are flying along with us today. In terms of our flight plan, we're picking up exactly where we left off last week at Dublin International, ICAO code Echo India Delta Whiskey, flying across the Irish Sea for a touch and go in Liverpool at the aptly named John Lennon Airport. Then we have a brief flyover of the Welsh town of Wrexham. We'll talk a little bit more about why we're going there today. Then we make our way down to the London area. Our full stop landing will be at London City. However, it felt appropriate that we also do a touch and go at Heathrow, of course. In terms of
I've done so many landings at London City this week.
Cruise speed of around 170 knots. We got about just over 300 nautical miles of ground to cover today. So 160 to 170 knots, that should be plenty fast enough to get this done in 2 hours.
Because as I was mastering
Peter,
the longitude, it's a nice short runway that really puts you to your test when you're trying to land that longitude. That thing is so slippy. If you can't get the brakes and the reverse thrust and things to work on it, you're not stopping on that runway. So it was a nice runway to test myself on and to use the VNAV and everything.
Alright, well, Alison is rejoining. Murph, what are you flying today? Alright, well,
I have chosen FS Reborn's FSR 500. I have chosen FS
Oh, they've got some feedback. Somebody's...
loads of options inside.
I'm going to mute them for a second. Someone's feeding back their own audio to themselves, and I don't want you to hear that. Yeah, they've just called it out, so hopefully... Okay, we can bring them back online now. That was a horrible crosstalk situation they had going on there.
The analog update.
Did I break? I think I fixed it. Did I fix it?
Okay, let's go back. Alright, we're on two-tone stream now. Are we still getting audio echoing?
Did I manage to fix it? It should be grand. We hope.
Check. Okay, they're saying it's fine now. Alright, excellent. There we go. You know, it's funny, we were actually literally just talking about this, and I'm not even kidding, 15 minutes ago, before we went live. Murph was asking if he should be sending his sim audio to the stream, and I say, you know, it's better not because sometimes we get issues with audio duplication when people do that.
And somehow he didn't listen.
I had one job. I had one job to do.
Yeah. Inquest, my colleague, one of the other community managers for Flight Simulator, says we don't call him two-tone for no reason.
I don't go red. You know, but if I did, I'd be red now. Yeah.
All right, now in terms of my choice, I am in the Cirrus SR.
Good evening. We will be taking off, I would have thought, in about 5 minutes or so, and making way. We did 2 circuits of Dublin Airport to do our pre-flight checks. Everything's looking good, and I'm just waiting for the guys at Asobo to clear us for takeoff.
Very excited to be using this game.
We'll be doing takeoff Dublin, touch and go at Liverpool, touch and go at Heathrow, and final landing at London City this evening. Approximately 2 hours of flying. We could do it a bit faster than this aircraft, but we will fly slower to stay with everybody else. He's cruising at 3,500. Okay. I'll match that for just now.
We're ready. Murph, Allison, Peter, are we good to go?
Good to go.
Sure.
All right. My parking brake is off. Full throttle is in.
We're rolling.
And we're rolling. And Community Flying Friday World Tour Stage 7 is now underway.
Airspeed's alive. Rotate speed.
All right, there we go. Rotate. We got positive rates. Fixed gear on the SR-20.
Gear up.
So no need to gear up.
Flaps up.
All right, Peter, you're still parked.
Oh,
Allison
bunch
is
of people
rolling.
coming my way. That's interesting.
Yep.
We will, on the climb out for just now, we'll stick autopilot on,
Yeah, let's do that.
and let's have a look at everybody else coming up.
Take off power shit.
And Murph, looks like you're taxiing into position.
I almost got lost at my home airport, but I know where I am now.
Oh, have I not set vertical speed?
It's grand. I know exactly where we are. I'm just not.
Oh, it's
very
okay, it's
sure.
correcting itself, that's fine.
I actually have it on live weather, so it's doing my job. It's nice, which is unique for Ireland. It's not.
Wow, everybody went straight past me. They must all be flying
So
way
Murph,
faster
I'm gonna
aircraft
give
than
you
I
a
am.
fair warning here, since you do have a little bit of
Oh
time
no,
to
they're not, they're behind me.
prepare for takeoff.
The
Very
density
quickly,
of people flying tonight
Dublin area,
is
see.
throwing off the
So once you do get airborne, we'll switch to your point of view.
sim.
And, maybe you can just share a few little fun facts about the Dublin
Let
area.
me just try and turn down the my sim outage, volume tonight.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, we have Wambi in the chat. Wambi, nice to see you. And Wambi says, "What a coincidence! Hi from a London hotel."
Oh. Wambi, what are you doing in London?
Yeah, are you there for business or personal travel, Wambi? Maybe a bit of both. Maybe on a business trip, but you're also going to do some sightseeing.
So we're aiming for an airspeed set of about 160, so I'm going to pull the throttle back a bit now on the climb out.
For at least in my case, it's eastbound VFR for most of the flights, so I'm going to go 3,500. Keep it a little bit realistic.
Maybe 2,500 to see it more. But yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I was thinking I might come a bit lower.
All right. Okay, this is interesting. I've got Ederin in sight, as you can see to my 12 o'clock.
So as we approach the 2,500
Ederin is flying the
altitude, we will level off. I'll pull the throttle back a bit more.
flying the ornithopter today. As I'm sure you all know, and there's an ornithopter right below me. This, you know, no sooner have I said that, we've got Nick Rath in an ornithopter in sight. But of course, the Dune DLC launched on Tuesday, February 13th. Free download from the Instant Marketplace. This is a collaboration between Microsoft Flight Simulator, Warner Brothers, and Legendary Pictures in celebration of the upcoming film Dune Part 2 from director Denis Villeneuve. Comes into theaters 2 weeks from now on March 1st. I myself am so excited.
I haven't seen Dune 1.
I loved Part 1.
I've seen adverts and stuff for it. It looks good, but I haven't seen part 1.
I have that downloaded and installed. I don't know, Nick Rath, are you maybe using a...
I have downloaded some Update 50, and I do have the Dune expansion. I haven't played with it yet.
But anyways, yeah, I'm really.
We're leaving
excited
everyone
to
behind a little bit, so I'm going to put back on the throttle just a little bit more.
was in 2 weeks' time.
You'll see that on the
And
pilot cam down
obviously,
here.
we've been watching the feedback on the Ornithopter. We've seen so many really positive, great reviews. A lot from real-world pilots as well, saying that they've been having a really enjoyable time flying something that not strictly a true-to-life aircraft, but something that's a little bit different that they haven't flown before in a simulator or real life. And
There was
Peter,
a
I know
bunch
you've
of
got
people
some
flying the
VR
Ornithopter today.
flying the Ornithopter.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm using helicopter control, so I have a cycling.
But it looks like we're on the same flight path as everybody else, so that's at least better than last week.
Cycling, you really feel like
Apart from those that have decided to
it really has a really natural feel to
do a bit of fun.
It's helicopter-like, but still quick, and it's actually pretty hard to fly if you don't use the brakes.
So we'll say goodbye to Ireland.
It's so much fun.
All right, Murph, I see you're airborne, flying over some absolutely beautiful Irish countryside there.
As
Why don't
we
you share some, Ireland facts, just as we get
fly over the sea and head towards Liverpool.
Sure, so we're just about to ramble over the M1, lots of traffic, and then it turns into the M50, even more traffic. But from kind of North County Dublin, we're heading towards Dublin.
I feel like I'm listening to Radio 1, getting the traffic update, and I haven't done that in years.
From the north side of Dublin.
There's more traffic on the runway, or on the motorway, or whatever.
Well, there we go.
Grand.
We forget how to use T's at the end of our sentences. So instead of saying that, it's that, and you is yous, and so on. And as you go closer kind of to the south side, it's more kind of draw. You see, if you're out towards kind of Dalkey or Cologne, that's neck of the woods.
How's everyone's week been? Let's see if we can get some conversation going in the chat.
One of the largest public parks.
As I say, I've had a very stressful week at work, but so this is a nice kind of relaxing way to end my week, and I do enjoy doing it.
The Phoenix Park, home of Orson Uteron, that's the Irish version, of course, of.
But in the evenings, I've been thoroughly enjoying learning to fly the Longitude. It's a fun aircraft. We're losing everybody behind, so let's slow down a little bit more. Let people catch up with us.
Which starts off in County Wicklow and rambles all the way in then towards Dublin itself. And well, the Liffey has one of the oldest bridges, and it's called the Halfpenny Bridge. And the Halfpenny Bridge, back in the day, well, you had to pay a halfpenny to get across it. And if you didn't want to do it, well, you'd have to walk for miles, or you'd get wet. So
Someone's crossing over the top of me.
just as we kind of leave the Phoenix Park, as we approach the city, you have a building here and a train station. That's called Houston Station, and it's right next.
Well, it's catching us up now. Let's get our speed back in.
It's the home of Guinness's, and that's where the factory is based just there.
We want to fly with everybody, not be too ahead or too far behind.
My boss on the flight simulator team, Skeetor, who sometimes shows up in the chat, he has visited St. James Gate, and he's been certified.
This guy is just above me. That's there's a shot. I should take a screenshot of that.
It's a skilled craft, you know, and once you get
TCAS should be
officially licensed,
going mental on his craft. They're going to phase him out because he's about to conflict in my my protected zone.
that's great. It's a great.
He's literally flying just above me.
There's great history there, of course. And as we ramble kind of, towards the end of the city, if you like, Dublin's relatively small. We've two major sports stadiums in the city. On the north side, we have Croke Park, which is the largest stadium in Ireland, and on the south side, we have the Aviva Stadium, home of Irish.
He's
rugby,
falling backwards a little bit.
Irish soccer.
That's
And,
kind of fun.
Just as we leave the region, we're looking out over the Dublin Docklands. That's the main port of Dublin, and not as busy as it used to be. A lot of the
So we are on the Southeast Asia server this evening.
kind of comes in now towards,
We've just departed from Dublin. We're heading towards Liverpool just now, so we're crossing the Irish Sea.
Of Dublin Port. It's huge, and it's all been upgraded and tidied up and that.
And we're listening to the
I have to say,
podcast
when you get
of
to
the
long,
fly-in
that's what I
with
love
a Sobo.
about this sim in particular, because it's visually engaging. You can kind of say, "Hey, look, that's that place I've been to." Point out the window, and there it is. And I tell you, I found some places I didn't even know existed around Dublin. It's like, where's this place? I gotta go there, And yeah, it's awesome. So Dublin, it's relatively small, but it's home, and it's grand, and it's Dublin.
I'm going to cut away just for a quick moment. Oh, I say that, and then the pilot got too close to me, and their plane disappeared. I had an ornithopter flying beautiful kite formation with me. So tight, in fact, that they're too close and I can no longer see them because their plane has ghosted out. So keep talking about Ireland then, Murph, and I'm sure that's
Sure.
So we're not flying with real world weather.
You
Right
need to
now it
take
would be
notes,
night
lads,
time in
because
Ireland.
that's what it is. So,
So we're flying with
North County Dublin,
few
County
clouds
Dublin,
and
Royal, we're heading out towards Lamb
daytime weather. That's the recommended
and
settings for joining
nice
the
areas.
fly-in
Actual
every
fact,
week.
right out in it's called Bull Island, and you have to go over the wooden bridge. The bridge is made out of wood, and I forget the name of it, but there's an old is it a golf course or a football course? But anyway, there's a pub out in the island, you see, and it's all part of kind of the clubhouse thing. And only the
Yeah,
most
because of the time that we fly
there is no pub in
on these weekly
Gets
fly-ins,
but,
you know, and because it has to be open to everybody of all pilots of all skills,
upgrade to
it wouldn't be fair to force real-world weather on everybody. Plus,
10 years before that,
yeah, we want to be able to see the points of interest.
quite a busy airport.
So flying at night, for example, in fog, is not going to be a particularly good live stream, or it's not going to be particularly fun for
kind of a stopover, in particular with Shannon.
beginners who don't want realistic flight simming and things like that. So, and treat this more as a game.
Although it's still used quite a bit, but I think it's more to do with the heavy traffic. You know, you have a lot of the Gulf carriers now coming up to Dublin with Etihad and Emirates, and you know, a lot of people, they tend to kind of go across, very similar to the flight that you guys did. So you know, you ramble across kind of, you know, Iceland and across, even down as far as maybe Prestwick, getting down into the UK. Where before, usually it would have been kind of Shannon and then across. So yeah, there's a lot of changes here over the last couple of years, in particular with aviation. And as we kind of head down south of Dublin now, this neck of the woods, this is where the accents get very nice, you know. And this area here, if anyone can pronounce it, you know, before I tell you what it is, the spelling is D-U-N, next word is L-A-O-G-H-I-R-E. Right? And I'm
Alright, thank you very much for the new sub. We'll go ahead and give Lucky his treat. Tonight he's getting meaty chewy duck fillets. This is a weekly event that we do with Asobo and Microsoft. So every Friday night, we do a roughly 2-hour fly-in, and we're going around the world. This is flight 7 on the world tour. So we're doing Dublin to London, and everyone's welcome. We're on the Southeast Asia server. So yeah, if you want to join in the future, then Friday nights at 7 o'clock UTC.
A lot of kind of Viking incursions in these neck of the woods back in the day, and you have everything there from the, you know, the monastery sites, and you have the you know, the round towers. There's an awful lot of kind of these ancient buildings relatively untouched in Ireland, because we like looking at them. Yeah, no, it looks very nice, you know. So yeah, there's tons of history all along the coast.
I see you've got a bit of a escort there with you as well, an MB339.
We have a wing person, yes, and week in, week out. I mean, it's amazing when folks fly along, and like, I've tried formation flying. I mean, I've really tried to do it, right?
It's hard. It's really hard.
There's people who just, it's second nature to them. They can just park their plane on your wing, anticipate your movements. It's incredible. Love it.
Ah, Swombat.
It is good old Wombat.
Yeah. So, Murph and Allison, both of you participated in this. If you recall,
I'm going to climb.
leading
Gonna
up
see if we can
to
get ahead above these clouds a little bit. So we'll give a 1,000 feet climb.
videos and a lot of teasers for that. We had the main event was some F-18s scrambling to intercept the bogey, which
You don't necessarily need a gaming PC to play anymore. If you've got a flight stick and a controller, you can play Flight Simulator on your Xbox, and you can also play it through the Microsoft Game Pass. So all of the power and processing happens in the cloud, and the game gets streamed down to you. So you don't have to have a top-end gaming PC anymore like I do, especially if you're not going to be streaming. You can do it through Game Pass.
but when we recorded the footage for that, it was actually Jane and
I've seen videos this week of people playing it literally on their iPhone whilst they're traveling, because they're just streaming it over 5G through Game Pass. It's probably not the experience I would want.
sweeping shots for that.
So
Yeah, it's no joke.
But hey, if you're playing it more as a game rather than a simulator,
However, that said,
it's probably fine on your phone.
I know I saw the name.
I do try to play this as more of a simulator, not on the fly-ins, because just doing it for a bit of fun. But when I do my other streams, I have all the realism turned up to max, and we try to fly as realistic as possible.
There we go. Let's take a look at that. Peter, do we have
Whereas
anyone
today we're
online?
probably going to do a bunch of
Yes, Glad to Netherlands.
barrel rolls and who knows what as we get over
I
over
was,
England.
Currently, I am. Oh, there's only one. I had a few ornithopters. Now, if we have multiple of them, how do we call it? I reckon a swarm.
Oh, I like Swarm. Yeah, Swarm. I'm one
You're
of
trying to figure out how to get another treat now, aren't you, Hup?
Okay, actually, it's quite clear that the production designer who worked on the Dune movies was inspired by a dragonfly when creating the fictional ornithopter design. I'm sure there is a name for this. What is the
We'll pull back on our
noun
throttles a
for
little
a
bit.
group of dragonflies?
Let people catch up.
Anyone know or can look that up online?
Glad that we're clear of those
Whatever that is, I think that's what we should call a
clouds.
nation of ornithopters.
Do you want to go in your
And we
place, pup?
invent some of our own words.
Good boy.
Horde. I was actually thinking that too, Ankle. Kind of, dragons have a hoard of gold in fiction. Doesn't seem appropriate for dragonflies.
It just says swarms.
Swarms, yeah.
Swarm of dragonflies. Okay, well then we'll go with what we had originally suggested then. A swarm of ornithopters.
Cody.
Alright, I think most of us are well over the Irish Sea at this point. Murph, I know you're taking a little bit longer to
So
get
we're
to
getting
the
on.
area. But yes, you're now also over the
Oh
Irish
yeah,
Sea.
we're well into the approach.
We're at good speed here now as well. We've got a lot of people flying today. There's a ton of people flying, which is awesome.
En route, we've got about
We always love it when we get a good
27 minutes
Friday. And once
to
again, if you are just
Liverpool
tuning in,
from where we are.
a little bit late, exclamation mark fly in the chat will give you instructions on how to join our flight today. As always, everyone is welcome. All players, all skill levels, all platforms. Doesn't matter if you're a total beginner or a super expert at flight sim. And it doesn't matter if you're on PC, Xbox,
Another
or Xbox,
subscriber.
regardless
Thank
of
you very
how
much.
you fly or how you fly, everyone can,
Just to let everyone know, I'm not going to be playing the game of if you unsubscribe and resubscribe, like he doesn't get a treat for that.
You do the normal kind of
So we play a maximum, basically,
offline.
situation.
so bad, I forget the name.
Latest high was 954, but since it's the fly-in, I'll give him some treats today.
We've a few.
But we have had some people try to play that game before where they unsub and resub, just trying to get lucky treats. We don't play that game.
For anyone who's flying
For his health and also for supporting the growth of the channel.
And if you're on the PC, just type in number 2, and then the lads will launch.
There we go, everybody's coming by.
An idea of how many people we have, 'cause, there seems to be a
Thank
lot
you, Lucky. I'm glad you like the plane. We're going to put power on now.
Yes, I saw
Let's
Super
see
Type on in the
if we
chat
can
earlier, so hopefully he'll be able to count for us.
be flying close to all of these people.
put out tonight.
I like being in the middle of a bunch of people.
Of course, you could do a vote. Yes, but
Where's the
that's
fun
way
in
easier.
that?
Yeah, it's way more fun this way.
There
course we
are
could do it.
many easier ways to do things, but it's got to be this way.
And because we've got so many people here, I would like to nominate Murph to do the location countdown.
Yes.
Yes.
Been a while.
Sorry,
What's
Murph.
We'll do that later on in the flight, but excellent idea, Allison.
I've just thrown you under the bus, but
Oh no, I was
Thanks,
fully planning to nominate Murph for that too later. So we have a similar.
I'm not doing VATSIM tonight. I do have VATSIM.
What are them fellas
Yes.
called at the
For anybody new to my channel,
Auctioneer.
Right? So, yeah.
I am a qualified private pilot
Be good at it.
and commercial pilot,
Very little time
but
to
my
see
commercial
what
pilot
else
license
is
has
going on.
expired because I chose not to take that to career.
I have a colleague she's from
So
she's from Eastern Europe.
yeah, I am qualified to talk on the videos, and yeah, I do occasionally do
I,
VATSIM.
I literally can't understand what she says. I hear her go, am I slowing down? I'm old.
So this is basically how I stay in the skies now, as I
Prime number if you're on PC and
reminisce about my younger years when I used to fly IRL.
Yeah, so that you do get the squiffy over windows. Yeah. Someone picked it up, CD, that my dials look overlit.
Oh, someone did notice. Yes. So for anyone
Oh, is that that? Wait, that might be the.
Allison has an ultra-wide monitor.
I'm gonna
for her
turn off
body
autopilot for a second and go and harass these
black
people over here.
box bars along the top of
I'm
the
gonna try to go and
monitor.
harass these people over here just for some fun.
Stretched her output just slightly. So, on the external cam, that actually looks relatively good. But when you're looking
Yeah.
close up on the cockpit view, you might notice that the steam gauge instruments are not perfect circles.
No.
But Alison, you could just zoom in a bit, right? So that you have left and right a bit less screen space you're actually sharing. But in the
Yeah, maybe, but I can't remember how to undo what I did.
probably re-add.
See, they're saying that the black bars
Wow.
are better. Well, when I remember how to put it back, next time you'll have black bars.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it together. I'll help.
Thank you.
By the way, for all the ornithopter fans, Murph, sorry to interrupt there. We'll come back to it in just 1 second. For all the ornithopter fans out there, and I know there are many of you, as I said, we've been seeing absolutely fantastic feedback from the community. Some of the YouTube comments we've been getting have been absolutely phenomenal on this aircraft. We are going to be planning a dedicated ornithopter flight in a few weeks' time. Obviously, we're doing community fly-in world tour today, but we do mix things up. We won't be doing world tours every week. We're gonna have some other one-off fun flights as well. And 2 weeks' time, on March 1st, which is the global cinematic premiere in movie theaters of Dune Part 2, we are planning a Dune-themed flight. Destination TBD, but it will obviously, in keeping with the theme of Arrakis from the book and movie, it'll be over.
I'm having too much fun. I'm forgetting to talk.
Dune.
I'm just chasing all the other people.
We will be recommending that people fly the ornithopter for that fly-in, and that's what we're doing now. All right, Super TIE Finder's got to count. Murph, why don't you do the honors on this one?
He does. He's back in action. So we have 44 pilots on PC and 16 pilots on the console.
Oh, I got too close. He disappeared.
And I'm just
That's
looking at my.
a total of 60. I kind of feel like I'm seeing more aircraft than 60. So I'm guessing there's people who are flying but not necessarily chatting in Twitch.
It's
That'd be me.
oh,
I'm not chatting in Twitch. I'm in the Twitch chat.
Come here. Wasn't your man Elvis? Isn't he in Dune? Well, I say Elvis, but didn't he play Elvis? The actor, didn't he?
Oh, in the.
See where we're at. Let's get us back down now to 2,500.
Yeah, he's in. The same guy's in.
Get ourselves back onto course. We are
So I'm watching that.
20
There's
minutes
two,
out from
two episodes.
our first touch and go.
Is that episode 5?
Episode 5, correct.
Yes. Yeah, I've been watching it through.
As you can see, there's some people who joined after, so they're still kind of just leaving Ireland. But majority of us are coming over
Player synchronized.
the
So right now here's one
west coast of England.
and it's
And so-
actually gliding. And when
They
it's
go-
diving, it will actually fold its wings.
Yes, so we saw.
Pull the power back a little bit. I want to be just keeping flight roughly about the same pace as everybody else.
Yesterday, and we were sharing it on the Flight Sim team. It's incredible. I think we actually retweeted it from the @MSFS official account. On Twitter. But there was a Japanese player in the ornithopter.
Well, have fun. Enjoy your stream. Thanks for checking in. Appreciate the sub.
And of course, the
And yeah,
ornithopters
good luck with your channel.
are too wide to get through that span, so they hit the button to go into dive mode, which retracts the wings, and then flew through the bridge, and then extended the wings again, and it looked awesome. It was so cool. Inquest, I don't know if you're still watching. If you're in the chat, if you can maybe put a link to that tweet. She's not here. Shoot. Okay, let me find it. I'll put this up. 1 second.
And it is a pretty wide aircraft, right? I did a bit of a canyon run with it, but I hit the walls a few times because it's so wide. It's way wider than you're used to with a plane.
Okay, there. I put the link in the chat. This again, it comes from a member of our Japanese player community, and this came to our attention because we saw Muhammad Wen had retweeted this, and we shared this internally with the Flight Sim team because we love this video so much. Definitely encourage you to click that link and check it out.
That's well timed.
It's so weird hearing all the
Now I wonder that
planes coming past you like that.
No
So
one sounds.
close. It's like,
So I wonder how many.
Stop calling me Shirley.
um,
Come here. Wasn't, wasn't your man Elvis? Isn't he in Dune? Well, I say Elvis, but didn't he play Elvis?
right, Murph.
You'd be panicking if you were in real life using planes past you like that. The only plane that should be coming that close to you would be like a military jet.
I've never seen that before.
So, coming from the world
And
of
if you've got a military jet coming up your side,
program
you're having a bad day.
Pro,
Okay, go in your
you
place.
can create widgets. And what this widget can do, this was built by our community member Randog Mord, is his name, and it mimics that, I think, of what's seen. I don't know if any of you guys watch, Steve and Knievo, or I think the asset it's similar. It's based on something similar. I think that some of the Garmin units give you for telemetry. And he built it, and it's giving us key information just in one small little dial, so we can see the nearest airport, we can see our heading, speed, we can see wind, the server in which we're on, our altitude.
So you can fly at any altitude you want on the fly-ins. I'm flying low because I want to let people see
If you're on the PC,
the land and the scenery around. Some people will be flying high because that's what will be in their
All right, now where
FMC
Flow Pro users download that widget?
or FMS. So they'll be flying through just complete autopilot. Others will be flying manually, so they're flying really low at this TNAV here behind me. So everyone flies at different altitudes. Just depends on what you're doing. I'm flying low, I guess, because I'm live streaming, and therefore I'm trying to allow everybody to see some of the scenery.
So if you're not already
I might climb in a second to try and do some stunts, though. Give me some altitude to drop as I do some barrel rolls or whatever.
We'll go through both of you. We'll start with Murph.
So as we're coming a bit over the water, I'll probably do that.
Channel in the near future, and what are your streaming times?
So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2000 Zulu. Monday nights.
It's got to
we're trying
5,000.
Would you believe the Gallic Wars? It's taking us on
That'll give us enough
Rome
altitude
all
to
the
do
way
some,
to Britain and
so have
back
some fun.
home again. The historical context.
Make sure we don't
Julius
fall
Caesar, but we get to fly over the
into the water.
ancient locations, which was once Gaul. So we're doing that at the moment, and after that, we're going to be starting an IF4 ATC.
Right, have a good one.
The idea of new users coming into the sim, or maybe those who want to transition from kind of general aviation VF4 flying.
I don't want to slow down too much, so we're only climbing at 500 feet per minute.
On communicating with ATC. We like to say that sim and stuff, and it's to break the mic fright, not being able to talk or feeling a little bit kind of maybe worried to I need to talk to someone. So that's starting on in a couple of weeks on a Monday night. Wednesdays, I try to cover as much news as I can, what's happening, be it from, officially from Microsoft Flight Sim, plus all the add-on developers. And we kind of keep up to date with some of the other platforms as well. And then Friday nights, well, they're like this. We pick somewhere, we go flying and just have a good time. So that's pretty much it.
All right, awesome. Now, Murph, I know you've also, I don't want to say super recently because it's been around for a while, but you're also trying to grow your presence on YouTube now as well.
Wow.
I am. And it's getting there. It's very with a live stream. It's relatively grand, right? Because you're just chatting, and there's no real worry. And when you're making a video, like it's you have to kind of apply a different skill set because it's linear. There's a lot of editing, and you don't have the interaction with people. So I'm primarily focusing on kind of reviews and previews and whatever kind of tech.
We could probably climb a little bit faster. They're not catching us up too bad, so
We do.
let's see if we can get up there.
Yeah, and it's great because there's so much news on a weekly basis, either coming directly from Microsoft or Asobo, or indeed the third-party community. Like there's always something happening, and in the very rare cases quiet, well, there's flight simulation as an entire genre. There's other platforms, there's other options, and it could be people who are interested in the combat side or otherwise. So there's always stuff happening like in the community. So it's we try and stay up to date with it.
All right.
Sometimes that's such a lot of work, right? Because so much is happening in a week.
Yeah.
I barely get time for it to read it all.
Well, to be fair, I completely cheat. I know I know Vasco from MSFS Add-ons, and I know Callum over at FS Elite, and of course a shout out to the two guys, and indeed Sergio Costa. These guys have their own websites where they do the heavy lifting, getting all the news, and I try to condense it all and not make a mistake whilst reading what they've already written. Genius.
But even then, it's a lot.
Oh, it is, yeah. And I'm, my streams, I tend, well, I'm not really. There's this sort of a myth, that I delay things and I'm very slow to get off the mark. Rubbish. But there is a lot to cover, definitely. you know.
There is.
There's just so many people flying out tonight. It's great.
Allison,
Yes.
why don't you tell the viewers here today what you do on your channel? Because you have a bit of a different tack than Murph. You do a lot of historical recreations of famous flights, and
do.
particularly those involving women aviators. So why don't you tell
So
us
as we
about
get
what you're
over
doing right now over on your channel and
5,000
stream hours?
feet,
Yeah.
and we'll
I
just make
stream,
sure that we're on the correct
Saturdays afternoons from 2 p.m.
baro
Tuesdays
altitude,
Saturdays are primarily
we
when I do
will
the historical recreations because sometimes they
turn off the
go on
autopilot
weekends
and
the odd 3 or 4.
have a little bit of fun.
We're currently reproducing the 1966 flight of Sheila Scott, who flew around
So-
the world in a Comanche. So we're taking out the A2A Akisin Comanche 250, and this week we're flying from
We'll fly upside down for a little bit.
in eastern Samoa to Canton Island. It's only about 5 hours, but next week we've got a long trek from Canton Island all the way over to Honolulu. Should be about 12 hours, and then the week after that it's 17 hours as we fly to San
Wow.
Francisco. So yes, that's what I do at the weekends because it was
Power off.
swinging to Sundays.
And we'll correct for that.
Yeah, it's all real time, real weather. See how it goes, basically.
Bring it
And on
back up, and
Tuesday we have
that's
a bit of
why,
we're
ladies and gentlemen,
agents and airliners,
why we go to
and,
5,000. You see we're down at 1,000 at the end of that?
Dougal McTavish, one of the
Messing
regulars
about?
who was
That's why.
trying to kill me, I mean make me crash, into places like
Because if
Thailand,
you lose it,
Hong Kong,
you'll lose it
Paro,
quickly.
and so on.
Oh.
His last attempt nearly, I had to go around. But I still hold. I can never go back to Kai Tak. My first ever airliner landing.
And you want to be able to recover.
68 people.
Right. So quit while you're ahead on that one.
I'm never going back. No, it can never be bettered. So. No.
Which we did.
I
Because
won't
you imagine we're,
that was hideous.
you know,
I did see
how
one
long are we
that
into the flight?
Ricardo was asking,
40 minutes or so?
anyone else who maybe
And I went and
going
put it in the
to-
water just because I was being a bit of a fool.
Can I get an ICAO for the next airport? Yes, we're flying. Our next touch and go is John Lennon Airport in Liverpool, UK, and the ICAO is Echo Golf Golf Papa EGGE. So I'm currently 38 nautical miles from Liverpool. Estimated 13 minutes flying time till I'm there, so we got plenty of time to get spawned in, get taxied over to the runway. While the group makes their way there, we'll be there in roughly 13 minutes or so.
Alison, what was your FPM at Kai Tak?
At minus 68.
So, we'll catch everyone back up
Doing the
now.
checkerboard approach.
2,500 feet. Seems like a good approach altitude.
I know. They all think I practice. I've never landed there in an airliner.
We're still in the middle of everybody anyway,
I've
but
flown airliners in Microsoft Flight Simulator,
don't know, there's
but
part of me that likes to be at the front.
I've just realised.
Natural leader, I guess.
Trying that flight myself, it doesn't work for me at all. So, Ali, your record is more than safe.
Lucky. Go in your place.
Minus 68. I can't do that. In most
The good
things.
viewers will subscribe and you'll get your treat, don't worry.
Amazing.
well, I didn't do too bad at Tom Contin. I was on the runway. The worst one was.
I gotta jump in, Allison. Once I will come back in a moment.
No
But
worries.
just on Peter's screen right now, we just saw him got overtaken by an ornithopter that then immediately went into dive mode in front of him, and it looked awesome.
Because it's actually.
So we're seeing the offshore wind farms here.
And now it's climbing up. Look at that.
I need to try this ornithopter. I haven't tried it yet. Everybody's saying it's good fun.
So.
I haven't had time. It only came out 2 days ago, and it's only in the beta as well.
It likes to be.
So if you're not flying the beta, you can't have it.
Floor it and brake hard and then turn aggressively. It's
Sorry to interrupt there, Alice. I just wanted to draw attention to that.
No
happening
worries.
in real time. All right, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. Paro was the hard one.
it is.
So we'll see everybody coming into Liverpool in about 10 minutes.
Everyone left their landing gear on the runway.
We should be there about 9 minutes.
Kapustik is flying off my wing.
If
He-
I
he
bring
went
up,
absolutely fantastic in a
you won't
748.
see it, but if I bring up Navigraph
I know, it's incredible. But they're
on
just
my
fun. We don't
computer,
take
I
it
can look at the
seriously.
Liverpool
And
charts.
so yeah, if you want to come along and show me how to fly an airliner, yeah, more the merrier. Tuesday evenings, 8 p.m. UK time.
You would
Okay,
say
we're gonna be.
taking it too seriously,
If we fly this
just
properly, we should be
it's
flying
a-
runway 27. Runway 09 is not used apparently.
Yeah, I think Facebook comments not only that you read, but that you screenshot
Yes, and translated it for you because it
Yeah.
wasn't much.
Um, anyways, below us we've got here in the Irish Sea, looks like a wind farm here, an offshore wind farm. I love how these things are reflected in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I know there's some people, I see this from time to time, whenever there's a proposal for a new wind farm to be built, kind of residents of that area, a lot of them will often protest that. They don't want this. They think it ruins their view or something. I actually think windmills look really peaceful and relaxing. I would quite enjoy living near a windmill farm, I think.
You probably wouldn't enjoy living near a windmill farm because of the noise.
Okay, well, I guess one within sight in the distance then.
Right. Not within hearing distance.
I think they're saying in Ireland, I think from inception to the wind farm providing electricity to the grid, I think it's about a 10-year turnaround.
Yeah.
And other places in Europe, I think Spain is the fastest. I think it's like 5 years, or maybe France.
And nobody's going to care. Everybody in this touch and go is going to approach on runway 09. So we'll probably just take the same approach and fly straight in, do the touch and go and continue. Otherwise we're going to lose everybody.
But that's also mainly
That's
because
just being
the
realistic about that on this flight. We can't be too much on the
research
realism because we'll end up losing everybody that we're flying with. So we're going to have to do a touch and go
Then all those research
facing the wrong way,
reports need to be read, need to be commented on,
using a not used runway, but anyway.
protested on, the public needs to be heard. So all those things, it's taking literally decades. Because I think the actual building of a wind farm is one maybe 2 years.
Right.
If that. They can build really quickly. I know actually the concrete fundaments for those windmills at the sea are
It's interesting seeing few clouds. These few clouds have quite a low base.
the Maasvlakte, and then be shipped out to sea and then sunk. Then you can build your windmill on it.
Yeah.
That isn't the problem. And the same with the windmills. They can easily create them or construct them in a relatively short period of time. But it's just the whole process of getting permits. And stuff like that.
I've seen stats for a variety of
6
European
minutes
countries.
for our touch and go.
A lot of times, not every day, but on a lot of days, 100% of the electricity generated in those countries is from renewable sources.
Did I enable approach? Why did I do that? I don't want that.
Really cool to see. Obviously,
No,
environment.
this thing doesn't have approach. You can't do that.
Microsoft as well. I was talking actually to one of our environment leads at Xbox, and I think this is actually really neat. For those of you who are using Xbox Cloud Gaming, of course, all the compute power happens in a Microsoft data center and is then streamed remotely to your device, wherever you happen to be playing using Xbox Cloud Gaming. And
So we're going to start bringing
Microsoft
ourselves
made an
down
investment in
very
renewable
slowly
energy
to
for their data centers. So there's actually you can reduce
approach
your carbon
altitude
footprint
into the
while still
circuit.
enjoying all the great games
And we'll do a quick touch and go on
gaming.
runway 09, and then we
Instead
will
of having a Xbox
be
console
continuing on our
or
way.
high-powered gaming PC in your home that uses a lot of electricity, potentially from a non-renewable source, you could stream it from a Microsoft data center, which has renewable electricity power. I think it's pretty neat. Good way to offset your carbon footprints while not really having too much of a noticeable impact on what you would be doing anyways.
One did Microsoft as well, who experimented with submersible data centers.
I'm not familiar with that, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's
I
pretty
think
neat.
I'm pretty sure they did. So they actually had some kind of watertight container, and with a data center inside. And so for more efficient cooling, they would just submerge it into the sea for like 50 or 60 meters depth.
That's incredible. Every single supervillain in the world ears just piped up. What?
Yeah.
Submersible?
I'm sorry, they did what? Look it up.
So we're now requesting our touch and go clearance. I expect him to request me a touch and go
Microsoft has a submerged
on runway 27, yeah, which now he's going to get mad at me that
Sticky Ray says I can attach my gaming computer. to
that I'm going to do it on runway 09. Shouldn't have requested it.
Alright, how close are we now to the touch and go in Liverpool?
I'm about 13 miles.
Okay, I'm 17, yeah. So we're getting there.
So I think
It sounds like I've got time. I could do the left traffic.
You're for a challenge. But yeah, it's a beautiful part of the world. I've been to Liverpool many times, and over the years, And for
I could
going
do the
out
left track.
tonight,
We've
like
probably
you're
got time.
seeing, if you're into it, I think there's two major areas. You have Concert Square, which is mad. It's all kind of loads of kind of pubs and clubs onto one square, and then you have a place called Matthew Street. And any fans of the Beatles, you're gonna love Matthew Street. I mean, that's where the guys played. It's either the Tavern or the Cavern, one of the other.
Cavern Club, famous.
The
That's
Cavern
one.
Club.
Yeah,
That's
where
the
the
one.
Beatles got their start.
Yeah, but great, and the accent is amazing. At ice, comes on, lads. It's amazing.
Viper Strike says Liverpool is famous for the Beatles, Liverpool FC, and where Murph first learned to read everything.
It's also famous for my poor football club, Everton. My family are from Liverpool.
So, okay. Alice and I, we're going to talk a little bit more about English football in a moment. It's actually going to be part of our stream today, some of the content we'll discuss. But for international...
I really wish we wouldn't talk about English football.
And I'm only vaguely aware as a foreigner as well. Describe the rivalry and what it means to the people of this area.
Nothing. It means nothing to anyone because football sucks.
Oh, it's huge. Always has been. Back in the day.
Am I biased? Is that a thing? Okay, so the runway's at the other side of the water there. So we're coming in for our left approach. Which would be quite nice actually for us to do that because it'll put us right on track for moving on to the next waypoint.
Had a lot more money spent on them than we have, but it is tremendously fierce. Back in the days of Paisley and everything, where the tackles were crunching, and if people didn't go off in ambulances, then it wasn't you didn't play the game hard enough. It's huge, and it used to be, and it's been a while since I've done a derby. But it was all fans were mixing together, which is completely different, or used to be completely different to most football. In the UK, you have to be segregated because you'd rather get tasty and stuff. But yeah, the rivalry used to be really, really huge.
Which has an engine failure. I just recovered by switching the fuel tanks. And clearly meant we didn't have enough fuel for this flight. So when we do our touch and go at Liverpool, I will refuel on the runway.
And then we moved across Stanley Park, where the two clubs are. They're less than a mile apart.
But that was how quickly we respond to an engine failure.
Yeah, it's not a question. When we're talking about the Beatles, yes, famously the Beatles are from Liverpool.
Let's autopilot off.
Playing at the Cavern Club, which I believe is still open, but it's not the original Cavern Club from the 60s with the Beatles. It's been like remodeled and stuff. But you can go there, I believe. You're a Beatles super fan.
You see, everyone's going to be coming in on runway 09. We're going to be
The boys got their start
countering that
back when Pete Best was
and following
pre-Ringo.
our approach instructions we were given.
They have bands
So we'll be
playing
landing on
all day.
027,
So
runway
you can ramble in
27,
at, 11
which is the
o'clock,
same runway,
bands
just from
playing.
the opposite
A lot of
direction,
tribute bands, as you can imagine.
if that makes sense. So we classify it as two different runways
Alright, I think I've actually logged
as
myself
pilots,
up.
but it's actually the same piece of tarmac.
So convenient flight plan for that.
So I have now joined
My autopilot now.
downwind.
And for our panelists, let me know when you're on sort of short or medium final, and I'll switch over to your POV so we can watch you land.
3 miles out.
Okay, sounds like
You can watch everybody's going in there on runway 09. And I'm just going to contrafold just to be difficult.
I think it's a Jaguar factory, or probably Vauxhall. But
Jaguar's the other side, Murph.
But we'll keep it tight.
I was trying to do a touch and go on 27 because of the wind.
Ah,
I
alright,
was
then you
trying
are.
to do it right.
I'm doing it right.
You'll be fine.
I'm doing it right.
Then you are over the Jaguar factory. Yeah. If you're coming, if you're coming 27, yeah, it's
Yeah.
Jaguar.
It'll be grand.
It's also the VFR holding point if you're for John Lennon.
Here we are.
It's a BRP they're flying here.
I think the factory is the VRP. Or
It is, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I thought.
Clear touch and go, let's go.
There's 4 A's in Jag.
Today, the new Grand Tour actually came out, right?
Oh, it
I
is,
need to
yes.
watch that.
Yes. I won't tell the name here because it's a bit suggestive, but yeah.
Alright,
As always.
here's a question. I don't know the answer to this. I'm gonna throw this out to chat. Maybe someone knows. I suspect the answer is kind of dark. Why is the airport in Liverpool named John Lennon Airport and not Lennon McCartney Airport? course, John Lennon and Paul McCartney were famous as a songwriting duo. Now, is it just because John Lennon has been dead for 40 years and Paul McCartney is still very much alive?
Yes.
So after Paul dies, will they...
I did hear your last transmission. I wasn't able to respond to it. Not my best landing, because I was trying to respond to air traffic control.
It was named in after John Lennon.
It's actually not letting me respond. That's interesting. Okay, touch and go. Let's go.
The famous sun, right? Touchdown. Coming up. I've never landed in this plane before.
I'm jumping back and forth. Oh, Allison and Peter doing basically a simultaneous...
Watching all the ornithopters. Gear up, flaps up.
Apparently, landing rate monitors thought that was very good.
Ooh.
I've had lots of claps, so I'll take that.
My landing was trash, 'cause I was too busy trying to deal with the
Thank you. Is it alright? Oh my word.
air traffic controller.
Viper Strike saying had a nice flight in the Caribbean earlier. Well, I hope you're enjoying World Update 16, which launched a few weeks ago. Caribbean World Updates.
Let's get to
Okay,
1500.
Say a sharp final goal.
We'll get back on track. But we'll kind of watch what everyone else is doing as they're all on the runway basically right now.
I'm on a medium final now. We're just turning on the medium final. All right, as I'm coming in, here's my Beatles hot take. And I think a lot of people might... I think some people might agree with this one. I think a lot probably won't. So Lennon and McCartney are, of course, the very famous songwriting duo who wrote the vast majority of the Beatles' repertoire. My hot take is that George Harrison was the best songwriter in the Beatles. And George's songs are among my favorite Beatles songs. Well, My Guitar Gently Weeps and Here Comes the Sun, in particular, are probably my number 1 and number 2 favorite Beatles songs in that order. And those are both George songs. All right, I'm coming in way too high and too fast. I'll do a quick forward slip here.
So where I used to live is his estate, Prior Park. Is just.
So I'm going to slow down a bit.
outskirts of Henley on
Let
Wales. It's where I
the
lived,
swarm catch up.
when I was little.
But they are coming.
That's where his home is, or was, as of course now. Yeah.
In fact, they're coming quite quick,
There we
so
go.
okay,
My
no problem.
little
Let's go.
My infant school backed onto it.
So let's look at the ground here as we're leaving Liverpool and heading
Very
south.
aggressive forward slip right on to final. All right, recover. Recover. This is horrible. Don't do this, Jack. This is so bad. I'm gonna use every inch of this runway.
You paid for it. You're
Yeah.
gonna use it.
Oh, now I'm floating. Okay,
He's
so
gonna
I'm
miss
gonna
that runway.
Down here. I'm not even gonna flare. I'm just gonna try to.
Did you even use flaps?
No, I did not use flaps.
No, because you were way too
Yes, I was going too
fast.
fast.
Way too hot, way too high.
All right, there we touched down. We touched
You
down,
did not.
Full throttle. And there
Didn't
goes the
even
runway.
touch. What a joke.
We literally did.
Jesus.
I used almost.
My landing might have been terrible, but at least I went down.
All right, don't try that at home, folks. That was a terrible landing. We'll do better on the next one at Heathrow. All right, let's switch over to Murph now.
Oh, it's you know it went so well. I just can't repeat it. That's how well it went. But it was grand. It was like 80 odd feet per minute. It was a nice touch and go.
So
But,
first time then, Murph. Yeah.
First time. Was it last Friday or the week before? We did. We had a challenge from Wombat, right? And we were flying in F-14s, and we were to stay below a certain altitude on the first leg around San Francisco, under the bridge. You know, land at the airport, and then on the way back, we had our second challenge was keep it below 500 feet. Now it sounds fairly straightforward, but to do it in an F-14, where we're using the Heathler and India Fox Deca one. And I like talking about this because I actually managed to do it. It worked. But it's cool. Like there's so many different challenges. Even we're talking about wind farms and stuff. And depending on where they are and depending on the aircraft you have, you get kind of creative here. I mean, you can use them as slaloms if you want, or try and time it perfectly so you don't get hit by the blade. Like we're not a competitive bunch at all. But
So I used to live near this area.
No, not at all.
It's quite
I just had something really cool happen to me. In
interesting to see it from the sky.
Departing Liverpool, I heard something to my left. I got headphones on with positional audio, so I heard something kind of to my 7 o'clock position. I was like, "Ooh, that's a Merlin engine. That is an unmistakable sound." And I swung my camera around, and it disappeared right But sure enough, there was a Spitfire right there off my wingtip. And I was like, that's really cool that I can identify that just from the sound of its engine. Oh, there it is. It's Fizzy Hamster in the Spitfire. Was flying off my wingtip just a moment ago.
Nice.
What's a good cruising altitude, Steve? Sorry,
I'm flying 3,500 again. You can go
cruising,
lower if you like, though.
cruising speed, I mean.
Again, we're recommending 160 to 170.
160. Yeah, I'm doing 150, but that's fine.
Okay, so I do want to talk about our next destination. It is going to come up here pretty quickly. We're going to be flying sort of southwest from Liverpool into Wales, over the town of Wrexham, population approximately 50,000, maybe slightly less. And most of you probably, if you're not very familiar with UK geography, I'm guessing have not really even heard of this town. Potentially until recently, where it came into a lot of international prominence because of its low-ranked, formerly Tier 5 in the English rankings, British rankings, football club, AFC Wrexham, has recently come to international fame. Now, does anyone in chat know why such a low-ranking club, 3 tiers below the Premier League, would have now become one of the most popular British football teams worldwide? Bribery.
No.
Nah. Good guess, but no.
Yes, there it is.
Yes. Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds. Correct. Yeah, 2 actors. Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Mythic Quest TV star. And Ryan Reynolds, most famously the star of Deadpool, but also star of many other movies as well. The 2 of them got together and purchased the club, which at the time was in the 5th tier of the British football rankings. And this is a sort of a former kind of industrial mining town, Wrexham, kind of down on its luck economically, hasn't been doing so well in recent
So this is
decades.
flying over it now, what they're talking about.
They sort of used their star
This is the
power
Wrexham
and
here.
their social media savviness and marketing prowess, and they've really turned the fortunes of both the club and the town itself completely around. And there's a fantastic Emmy award-winning documentary that if you're in the United States, it's on Hulu, and if you're international, it's on Disney Plus. It's called Welcome to Wrexham. And there's 2 seasons, I think, available right now, and a 3rd season coming in a few months' time.
And we're off.
And,
Estimate time en route to the next waypoint.
I don't know if anyone in the chat has watched that.
10 minutes.
But it is an incredibly
It's kind of muggy.
documentary. On the one hand, it's about sports, but on the other hand, it's
So,
really about the town.
We'll see if that mug gets in our way, but if not, we'll keep flying at this altitude. I don't see any mountains or anything getting in our way.
Present in this documentary. You certainly get to know a lot of them. But the people in the town of Wrexham, the supporters of the club, there's the pub owner whose club is attached to the stadium, is one of the main people that they interview very frequently.
I think I'm flying over it about now.
You are?
Just
Just down below me, yeah.
There it is, I guess.
There.
Yeah, so there is the stadium. This is the race course in Wrexham, and they make a point of showing this many times in the series, that it is the oldest continuously operated football stadium in the world. Dates back, I believe, to the 1880s, something like that. And still in use today. Obviously, it's been renovated over the years, with further renovations to come. But I think that's pretty neat that this nearly 150-year-old football stadium is still being used today.
Very cool.
So yeah, do highly recommend that documentary. I got completely addicted to it and binge watched it a couple weeks ago, and was thoroughly entertained by it. I'd never even heard of AFC Wrexham, I'll be honest, before I watched this documentary, and now I'm
Even people in
emotionally
Britain
invested
haven't heard of them.
in this club.
Until
Sorry,
now, I've
Wrexham
never heard of
fans.
them. Sorry.
So everyone flying is basically behind us, probably flying slow over
Yeah, so
Wrexham.
the neat thing, again, I'm an outsider, a foreigner. So I
Looks
don't
like
follow
probably
the
slow down a little bit, let them
the
catch up, but
really
not
things
too much
behind
slow
the
down,
scenes
because they
of
will catch up
British
quickly.
football, as opposed to the professional sports leagues in North America, Major League Baseball, NFL, NHL, etc.
But I do want to
It's
stay
the
with the pack
whole
tonight.
promotion and relegation
One of the things that was a little bit less fun last week was when we lost the pack because they all took a completely different path to us.
League system. So if you have a your mates from work, like just a social after work. Once every Saturday, you get together and play a football match. You are part of the organized league. You may be a very low ranking, but it is theoretically possible if you're good enough, your office team get promoted all the way to the Premier League. Is that going to happen? Almost certainly not. But in theory, it could. And I think that's really interesting. You don't see that in a lot of elsewhere in the world in professional sport.
Several teams have come from very low leagues all the way up. Stayed a little while and all the way back down again, but it has happened.
There's just some luck at some results in that time.
Yeah, well, it is all just luck, right?
Wow.
Yes.
Talent, skill.
Oh, I was about to
Sometimes
say,
a bit of skill.
I'm not a football fan, but you can't just say winning is luck. I mean,
Oh yeah, I'm actually flying over Wrexham right now. There's the race course.
let's get a bit lower. Let's see if we can't skim
Another
this
fun
ground
fact
a little
about
bit as we go.
that, they
We
show
don't need to
is,
be high. We want to see this scenery
very
as we go
famously,
today.
there's a brewery here, Wrexham Lager, and its claim to fame is that in 1912, very prestigiously, the White Star Line of ocean liners chose Wrexham Lager to be the official on-board beer of their new
Jesus.
world-class, fabulous.
I saw a shadow of a plane underneath me, and I thought that was
Titanic.
me about to hit the ground. Had a heart attack. There's so many other planes going past. You obviously can see some shadows. That really threw me.
So on live weather, it's Murphy's Law. On live weather, as I flew over Wrexham.
Why are you including me for the touch and go?
So I saw a bit of the stadium, enough to realise, yeah,
I need to change this.
It's quite beautiful though with the clouds. I mean, at 3,500, you're right kind of, you're right on the base of them.
I'm at 1,500 sound below them. And it works better. Because as we know,
Oh, indeed. Yeah. Except for that one
Let's get our fight following back. Not that it'll help us much.
At all.
I mean,
Shirley
I
Dev says that lager brand must have sunk without a trace. I've never heard of it. So it got bought out by one of the international beer-making conglomerates, I believe, in the 1970s or 1980s, something like that. But again,
There seems to be two groups
thanks
forming.
largely to their surging
The fast
popularity of
planes and the slow
thanks to
pokes.
Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney in the documentary series. They're making it and selling it again. Brewed in Wrexham, and again they're using sort of their social media presence to promote the town. And,
I don't know where my
seeing a
assistant went.
resurgence
My
of
assistant
popularity.
usually does my radios for me. What's going on?
Is that a craft brewery now then?
You know, I don't know enough about it to say. Mr. Crumpabos asks, are we going to Heathrow or London City? And the answer is yes.
Nah.
We're doing a touch and go in Heathrow and a full stop at London City.
so we are doing the extra steep ILS approach.
I will not be doing the CPILS approach. I've been doing that all week. I'll be doing VFR approach today into London City.
Swarm of one.
I do like that, a swarm. Yes. That
Oh, here's another runway we're
Oh, there's
flying
two. Oh,
past.
look at that.
There's part of me that wants to do a touch and go here.
Go in Birmingham? No, I don't think so.
I'm like, that is so tempting. I'm not sure I've
Next
done
touch
that
and
one
go
before.
will be, Heathrow. We do it
Script.
for Kilo
Let's do it.
Washington.
I've got some time.
So, you have the World Update 3 UK and Ireland.
I'll catch them up. I want to get this runway.
Landmarks on our flight plan as we make our way to Heathrow.
So we're passing Telford. Are we going over over Ironbridge?
You can see a bunch of folk are doing it.
Flight plan a few weeks ago, and I honestly can't remember what POIs I added. But quite
This is
fun.
really not how I do this IRL, but
See how wide that one
it's a really long runway, and I just want to get it.
not even small aircraft like the DBM.
Whoa!
Well, roll it.
Okay, that's not how I wanted to get it.
Spam. Spam whip. It's huge.
That's the
So
benefit
that's
of having
when
no
you
damage
when I
turned
didn't
on.
run, I hit the walls. I did it. Oh,
Low and slow and doing everything completely the wrong way.
Not too
But I
far
didn't
from
lose
Wexford,
my
an area
my
where
place in
people
chasing
cruise
the everybody else tonight because
mine lives out there. Now this we were
I've
kids,
got it
this
on
is
basically
and
game
come
mode
over here
rather than
we had
real life mode.
24-hour cinema theater as well.
So let's
And
get up.
I think it was Mission Impossible 1, that'll tell you like when this all came out. But
We're
this
having some
is in
fun.
the woods. It's beautiful scenery all around here. Like, you're out in the country here a little bit, but you know there's in any direction, and there's a ton of old RAF air bases and
I
airfields.
got a request a new flight following. That's hilarious. Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people are doing touch and goes here,
We're in just there.
grabbing the runway at the same time.
It's called Sleep. With an
That's
A, with an
hilarious.
A. Yeah. SLEAP.
You know, it's an unmistakable sound. It's not 100% correlated.
Because why would you miss it? Why would you miss that runway? It's so obvious as we're going past it.
Airport.
It doesn't make any sense to miss that.
Constructed during World War II, and so it's a very good sign. Not a lot of modern airports are built in that configuration. So if you ever see a triangular-shaped three-runway airport, a lot of times if you look up the history of when that was built, it was built during the World War II massive construction. Again, we talked about Masters of the Air a little bit ago. All those air bases they built during the war, most of them are built in that configuration.
There's got to be hundreds of them in the UK, though, right? I mean,
Yes.
yeah.
Most have been decommissioned, of course, over the years. There's no longer that kind of demand, but some of them are still around and operational, both either as civilian.
So yeah,
airfields
don't
or
land like that.
military
Don't do what I did.
quite a lot of civilian airports are.
Because you do that IRL, you're dead.
90% of the TA airports are closed.
I just wanted to get the runway. I was just
I remember
like,
talking to,
I'm trying to get the
Scottish
achievement for
Chiefs
500
about
runways, and I knew I
this
didn't have that
as
one.
well.
I don't know if that'll count or not. That would be really interesting actually to find out if that counts
Yes.
Oh,
towards my
Right,
runways
and
or not.
His old airfield
I'll
is
check it
really
later on
nice
in the flight log.
in the southern part of the UK.
Like, Does a crash
This
landing
used
count
to
as a
lay-
landing? I don't
We
know.
were able to find the layout because whatever satellite imagery that Bing had, it must have been summertime, right? Because the ground was quite dry, and you could actually see the layout of the original airfield beneath the grass, and we were able to pinpoint it and say, look, that's where he flew from. No.
Well, we've got 2 minutes en route for the next point of
We
interest.
should.
With the
We're
SAP.
probably a bit too low. Get over these mountains, so let's
Look at that. He just gave us something
we'll
to
climb
do.
up to 3,500.
We're going to be busy now.
there
Is
is
that-
a B-17 for Microsoft Flight Simulator under development right now.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm sure with the popularity of Masters of the Air and a lot of people watching that, that'll stir up a lot of great interest in.
It'll
flying
make
the
a lot of
B-17.
people very happy.
Yeah. It's funny the effect that pop culture has on what people are interested in. So, there's a TV series like Masters of the Air that's about B-17 bombers. All of a sudden, everyone's interested in flying a B-17. You see this with baby
I'm
wings
not.
as well.
Yep.
There's a popular character from a movie or TV show that has a somewhat unique name. A few years later, you'll see a lot of young children that have that name.
There's Iron Bridge, I think. Is that the Iron Bridge? I missed it.
I hope that's not entirely the case, Edie. Otherwise, my folks must have been watching, like, Batman, because my first name is Robin. It's like, who else is called Robin? It's like, yes, everyone should call their child Robin. But yeah, no, you're right, it's gas, especially in Ireland, right? And there's kind of themes to this. Everyone's called Mary or Sean, or Patrick. And now the name of the strange names.
Yeah, there it is. There's the Iron Bridge there behind my wing.
Turgonius says there are
Thomas
3
Telford's
Khaleesi's
Iron Bridge.
in my son's middle school. Yes, of course, the popularity of Game of Thrones, around 8 or 9 years ago. Having seen the last season of Game of Thrones, I wonder if children or parents recommend or regret naming their child Khaleesi. Yes, Larry Optics is the same thing. Khaleesi being one notable example before the series ended. Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to name mine Luke, but I wasn't allowed to.
As in Luke Skywalker?
Maybe. No.
Yes.
So what?
Yes.
Yeah. So then I wasn't allowed to.
Oh, there's an iron bridge. Look.
Yeah. Iron Bridge.
I thought it was the world's biggest weathersock there for a moment. It turns out there's a crane in the scenery.
I don't think I saw the Iron Bridge.
Is the server acting up against CD? Because it seems to be that I'm frozen,
Let me take
Yeah.
a look.
while I'm not.
Yeah, so Peter, you appear to be disconnected.
Is that right underneath me or something?
Low frame rates from Murph and Allison.
Yeah.
So yeah, give it a few minutes. Okay, I see you reconnected now, Peter.
Yep.
Sometimes it clears up on its own. I haven't touched it. I haven't changed anything, so not sure what the tech issue is there.
Yeah, it's on my end it was fine, but I reconnected, so let's see.
I will do the same.
Mike Runker says one of my acquaintances has a son named
Should be
Luke
the same.
after Luke Skywalker. There you go.
Right. I mean, I would never said it was from Luke Skywalker. I just think it was a cool name, but
Well, so here's a true story. It looks like we just lost Allison on the video call. She'll be back for sure. She'll reconnect in a second.
she's never said that.
When I was a small child, obviously I loved Star Wars. Being a kid in the '80s, how could you not? And when I was a kid, you play with the other kids in your neighborhood. They had none of them were named Luke, and so then when I went to school, there was a kid in my class named Luke, and literally the only other Luke I knew was Luke Skywalker. So I just assumed, as a 4-year-old would, that he must have been named. The Luke in my class must have been named for Luke Skywalker.
I can't log that in right now. Navlog.
I don't know. I would assume not, because it's a relatively common
Popular
name.
biblical name, though, right? As
Yeah.
well. So.
Of
Yeah,
course, yeah.
It's a pretty normal name to have, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, but as a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old, where the only other Luke I know is from Star Wars, I've never heard that name in any other context. It made sense at the time, right?
I'm being floated and inverted.
Okay, Two-Tone and Allison, your streams look to have recovered. I've got good frame rates for both of you again. Peter, you're disconnected, so maybe we can just try reconnecting now.
I found having a little warning button, so if you use OBS, you can set it up that when you hit stream now, it gives you a notification. Are you sure?
Yes.
Right? You can imagine why now. I didn't start off live having that feature turned on. Right? There was a need for it. But yeah, there's a button there now. And lights flash and I get an audio thing just to make sure,
Are you sure you want to go live?
Yeah.
Are you very sure?
Are you, more importantly, are you ready?
Are you ready? Are you very ready? I mean, look at you. Are you ready?
Of course you're ready. Why would you not be ready?
So I see a comment in chat that's from Fletcher. It says Luke is one of the few common names in Star Wars. Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones. What are the names of the Stark children? You've got Arya, Sansa, Rickon, Bran, and Robb. kind of lost the creativity with that last one there, didn't George Martin?
I'm done. We'll call him Rob.
Here's one for you. If you could
Think
be
what
a
that's
character
called.
in Game of Thrones, right?
Oh,
Who
I
would
don't
you
want to be
be?
anyone.
The dragon.
Anyone? No. Just end up being dead.
No
Yeah.
one is
Dragon.
safe. The dragon. But no, they didn't get a good run of it either.
No?
But like, if there
The
was
other dragon.
the other one.
That'd probably be a bit fast to have that anyway.
I can imagine some of the responses to this would be interesting.
Okay, I have to say now, it's been a few years since I've watched Game of Thrones, and almost everyone has a terrible fate. Even the people who don't die don't exactly have great fates in Game of Thrones. So it has to be like one of the, not necessarily one of the main cast, but like a named character, not just like a random background extra kind of thing, right? I don't remember his name. Someone in
So we
chat
are heading towards Heathrow now.
the
For anybody who's new, just joining the stream, welcome. We took off at Dublin.
And
We did a
then
touch
you
and
got
go at
left
Liverpool,
behind on the other continents.
and now we are on our way to Heathrow before our final
He had about as
full
good a
stop for
pace.
the day, which will be London City.
You know who I mean,
Yeah.
though, right?
I do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dario, yes.
There we
Yeah,
go.
Dario's not a bad choice. You have to pick someone.
No, he was okay.
But the other mercenary, Braun, wasn't that Robson or Jerome? It was
Yes.
Jerome.
Yeah, what? Jerome.
There we go. Robson and Jerome, like the two, well, a band. What was the band? Two lads who sang.
Well, originally they started in they were actors in Soldier Soldier, and then they did musical songs. They started off as actors together in Soldier Soldier television series.
That's mad.
You seem to have dropped off.
Frodo McKinsey. No, it wasn't Frodo.
Guess we're not doing takeoffs and landings, so the audience drops off.
Dear, oh dear, nights out.
It'll spike back up again when we get to the runway.
Bro,
Don't know how that happens, but it does.
Birmingham, because I think we have photogrammetry here, right?
Still quite second for a bit.
Yeah, I'm getting lots of stutters at the moment, I'm afraid.
No, it's
There's
fine.
loads of people at all the altitudes.
For half a second.
Maybe we can get down with some of them.
What accent was that? Obviously wasn't from Birmingham. Oh dear, Aileron's in the win. Good to see you, man. There's so many people here in the chat, by the way. Happy Friday.
Hey,
everybody.
ailerons.
We have to call him the him from now on. He was referred to
him?
as he was he was giving feedback on an aircraft in development, right? And the dev was like, "Who's this guy?" You know. And then one day he just said, "So has that him made any responses to what we're working on?" I was like, "The him. That's just brilliant."
All right.
So you guys
Sir,
being
you have
sneaky
dodged
again,
your
trying to
fate.
run away from his
We warned you this would happen.
place.
Now time. Chat. Height
Oh,
and
here we go.
location, where you're from, and Murph, you're going to read everyone's UN notation.
Oh dear. Okay, we have Brazil, Toronto, Calgary. Almighty, this is going to be New Jersey, Calgary, Poland, Southern Virginia, Liverpool, Belfast, Scotland, New Scotland. Where's New Scotland? Germany. Right, the speed. You're not to be typing either. Germany.
I have. I've typed.
Oklahoma, Scotland, Hungary, Southampton, Nova Scotia, Canada, Liverpool, Stockholm, Blackpool, space. There's someone in space. Vancouver, Germany, Lakeland, Florida, Ohio, Gothenburg, Welsh Valley, RD, hi. Ontario, Florida, Dordrecht, is it?
Dordrecht. Yeah, it's a city. Yeah.
That
Dordrecht.
was a good pronunciation. It's all I'm on fire. Brilliant. Essen, Denmark, Spokane, the UK, Bedford, Newcastle upon Tyne, Germany, Hamburg, Morecambe is I think. Scotland,
bunch of
Illinois,
folk from the
Denmark,
UK.
Vancouver, Switzerland,
And we're all on a server that gives us the worst ping rate.
Cornwall, Michigan,
for
Norway,
doing this.
Louisiana, Hawaii,
I've no idea why they chose that.
some Peterson, Leitrim, Larne,
Peter's
Florida,
from Leitrim.
Romania, Alberta, Georgia, Vancouver, Sweden, Norway, in his attic because he Kane over there, Poland, South Africa, over there. Brilliant. Does anyone know how to pronounce that? Like the ridiculous Welsh? We'll give it a shot. It's Lianfag. No, I won't. Let me see who else is here. The Attic, Vienna, California, New Zealand, South Tipperary, Hookpit, Japan, Devon.
Wow.
Made it easier, Peter. Thanks.
Global audience, don't we?
Under your bed, Hanover, Vienna, London, Milton Keynes, under the stairs. A lot of people in the house. North Devon, Ireland, Washington State, UK. You're only making them up now, Peter. Joplin, Missouri, Munich, Bangalore, Dublin, Kentucky, Poland, Arrakis, ban yourself, here for the weather. Let me see, USA. Shirley Dev said you missed mine. Where did you? Tell us again. Zaidi is.
Are you
Zaidi must
posting
be-
chat by any chance? Are you posting chat? That's
No.
cheating.
I'm
Yes.
very fast. I've a massive screen here beside me. You wouldn't believe the size of the screen. Sweden, Leitrim in Germany, France, under the patio, Germany, Merce Cave, Tatooine, is it? Is that a place?
Tatooine.
Star Wars.
Tatooine, Star Wars.
Where Luke was, you know, Tatooine.
Yes.
Oh.
Live long and prosper. Dorchester, Norway.
Oh.
Where is this? Caledon, Stephen in other streams. Wait, what? Kentucky, 5 steps away from the bar, behind you.
New kitchen.
Rivendell. Taking the. Oh, if someone says Isengard, we're in. The new kitchen. What? Tehran, Arrakis again. The man deserves a statue. Backseat at the Skoda. You know that. San Jose. I did well, lads. That's the end of it. Brilliant. 100 points.
Right. That was very good.
It was very good. Yeah.
And
Hey,
I
actually-
completely flew off course. So mission accomplished.
Yeah, I had your point of view on that screen the entire time.
But you missed all my city names. You missed.
Well, I didn't miss them. I just saw them. It was.
You ignored them.
Well, I couldn't read them, to be honest. I could try to read them. So, for example,
Those are real-
to Waka Waka Taka. Like, is that a song? That's
No,
the
no,
lyrics
it's
of a
an
song.
actual city.
Pup, you're supposed to be in your place. Are you gonna fly the plane? Are you gonna fly the plane?
Did Majori name count on New Zealand for items without the
This is a throttle, and this is your yoke
It is
stick.
better known as Tamata.
Okay?
Brought to us from the Kiwis.
Don't
We
crash.
actually have an island
You'll
called
embarrass me.
Disappointment Island.
Oh, I should live there.
Imagine, like, this is brilliant. I'd say it's the most beautiful island in the world, but if you call it something like
What do you think,
Disappointment
Pup?
Island, well, the tourists stay away. See?
Yeah.
Think you can fly? Oh, 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 oh. Don't kick me.
Key talent.
Driving tourists away.
Ah,
No,
come here.
this
Come here.
people.
I see a comment in the chat. Home Run 79 says, it sounds like CD invited the entire greater Vancouver area out today, and they all forgot to show up for work. I saw a meme.
Are you
online,
flying? Are you gonna fly, Pup?
2 weeks ago.
Siddis says hi.
Quite amusing.
Do you remember
Most people who are
Siddis?
not from Vancouver probably won't get this reference.
Look at the camera. Look, there's
There's a
Siddis.
lot of Vancouver area people in the chat based on Murph's great job calling out everyone's location.
Hi.
So it was one of those memes.
Hi, Siddis. Oh,
and then
oh,
the
oh,
first
oh,
person
oh.
says, where are you from? And then
Oh,
the second person says Vancouver.
Yeah. Oh, wriggly little guy.
Next frame was
Oh,
where
oh,
are you
oh,
really
oh,
from?
oh, 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 oh.
Vancouver. And then the third
Whoa,
frame,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
don't lie to me. And then the second person says, okay,
I
fine.
don't know what's up.
Burnaby.
He's like, let me go. I want to jump onto the desk and get the treats.
People from the Vancouver
Go in your place.
area will understand. Yeah, so Home Run gets it.
Good
People
boy.
from the Vancouver area will understand the humor in that.
Seemingly, in the middle of the Atlantic, there is an island called Inaccessible Island.
How many people live there?
You know? How many people try to live there?
I mean, if it's more than one, then it clearly isn't accessible.
Oh, that's very true.
More than zero.
Oh wait, it's in the Pacific. It's not in the Atlantic.
No,
I'm
back
wrong.
up. Back up, back up.
Where
Go in
was
your
this
place.
now?
Good boy.
Englewood says, now read tongue twisters.
What are we doing?
Which switch Swiss wrist watches? Say that fast 10 times backwards and you'll get a prize.
Micah Grunko says the island from The Incredibles was called No Man Isn't.
Oh man is in.
No Man is an
Charlie
island. Okay, that's actually pretty great.
Charlie 6, 7. Qui Puka Huernan.
Where?
Huerman.
Sounds like you just swore. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
See, not many English people can speak or do Swedish. So.
Oh, that's Swedish.
Yeah.
What's this Hemingberg said the other day? The Prime Minister of Sweden is from IKEA. He's just waiting to get put his cabinet together.
Oh.
That's quite good.
Okay. Murph, there's a request from Surly Dev in the
There's a
chat.
couple more runways on the way.
I won't.
he's
I
trying
won't.
to
I think we
make
should
it a-
try and crash land onto those
Try
too.
not to do that on the stream.
What I love is the fact you had to warn me. I love that.
Yeah.
Because I am liable to do it, but I won't do it. I saw it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So in about, what about, like in 2 minutes on the left there's a runway?
It's one of the worst words in the world that I learned to speak when I was learning to speak Swedish. It means nurse, sick carer, Puertiska.
I think I see it. I'll pilot off. Let's go and see if we can.
I have to say, live weather is kind of stunning. We went
Nice,
from like,
isn't it?
yeah, the conditions are kind of like what there back in Dublin. Then we went into a whole load of cloud, and now it's brightened up again. Beautiful.
Everyone's like, no, Musk's gonna go and try and crash land again.
No.
I see you.
Why do we let him fly on these journeys?
There you are.
You're looking well.
Thank you. Not so bad yourself.
Do you come here often?
That's a nice dress you have.
Just for Fridays. It's amazing the amount of the variety, if you like, of aircraft with us. Anything from, just DA-42s, there's 208s, A320s, DC-6s. We can see.
I don't know what this is. I don't even know what this runway is, but we're gonna land on it.
Or not. There's so much variety on a group flight. It's incredible. I love that. We're very close to another airport.
Yeah, we are. And I'm totally gonna land on it.
So I'm coming up to user waypoint 4. I'm 1 mile away. I think I might have fallen behind the group a little bit.
Oh, this is not an airport. This is like a road.
Oh, looks like a castle.
It's Warwick.
That's not an airport.
Warwick Castle. Yeah. Beautiful.
That's a run. That's a
Ever been there
road.
in real life, Allison?
Yes.
Don't
yes.
land on that road.
That's not
It's in super. It's run by two.
But there is an airport down here.
So they have lots of events on at Warwick Castle.
Are we passing near? Is it McLaren that's up this neck of the woods? Or am I absolutely raving? Because I thought it was a runway, but it's
McLaren
actually a racetrack.
they're near Banbury, aren't they? So yes, we're not far away.
McLaren, the F1 team?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think their factory is there as well. Sweet. Yeah, I'm almost certain that's McLaren.
My airspeed is struggling, really struggling, but
Ooh, Murph, you have a peep.
I'm glad I did that refuel at Liverpool.
We do. The beautiful lighting, isn't it? Gorgeous. As you were saying, when it comes to kind of trend setting or what we watch on TV, but ever since watching Masters of the Air, I'm like, you're flying these planes, bring out the vintage aircraft.
Well, for those of you who know the history of the air campaign in World War II, so far we're in 1943 in the series, in the episodes we've seen so far, where the bombers were penetrating deep into Europe beyond the range of fighter escorts, and that's why you've seen it taken real severe losses so far. But I think pretty soon, as the story progresses into 1944, famously the P-51 Mustang will start making its appearance, and then the bombers will have fighter escorts for the entire length of their mission. I think we're going to see that in the next few episodes, I would suspect.
They're called the Red Tails, wasn't it? Wasn't there a group of aviators?
Yes,
squadron?
very famously, and they're in the opening credits. If you've watched, they haven't shown up in the series yet, but they're in the opening credits. So officially, they're known as the Tuskegee Airmen, and they're named after Tuskegee University, which is a historical black college or university in the United States. And a really interesting story how this happened. During the First World War, the U.S. government gave a lot of grants.
I don't really see that as a runway either. Not one I'm willing to try and land on anyway.
Notably because of
We'll do a low pass over it.
at the time, African Americans were excluded from those funding grants. And so what happened when
But it is a runway.
and there were talk of a similar government program, there were a collection of African American aviators that did not want to be excluded again. So they actually flew a plane to Washington, a rickety old aircraft that was, held together with duct tape and chewing gum. And they flew it to Washington, and they had a chance encounter with a U.S. government official, then a senator, named Harry Truman. Truman, of course, later became vice president to FDR. And because he had this chance encounter with these African-American aviators, he made sure, he used his power and influence as a senator, he made sure that they got funding for pilot training. And the training occurred at several historically black colleges and universities throughout the United States. Most famously, the name that got most closely associated with this was Tuskegee, and that's where they got the name the Tuskegee Airmen. And their fighters, the P-51s, were marked with red tails, their paint job, and so how they got the nickname, the Red Tails. And there's one of them available. If you have the Reno full collection in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the P-51 Bunny is a real-life P-51 Mustang. I've personally seen this plane in Reno, the real one. And historically, it was flown in combat by the Tuskegee Airmen. And now it's a race plane. It's now a race plane in Reno. And you can fly that exact Mustang in Microsoft Flight Simulator if you have the Reno full collection.
Imagine the value of the real one.
Doesn't Tom Cruise have a P-51 as well, I think?
He does indeed. And if you saw Top Gun Maverick, the scenes at the end and the beginning when Tom Cruise is working in the hangar repairing the Mustang, that's actually Tom Cruise, the actor's actual P-51 that he owns for real.
Nice. Isn't it funny? Like to people, yeah, it's just an airplane. To anyone who's like into aviation, it's like the plane. You know.
So you have what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, you say the plane, apart from the Spitfire,
Of course. Well, you see, there's so many options now, right? So
but
many options.
the P-51 is just a shallow copy of the Spitfire, right?
Careful how you say that.
I'm
Well,
always,
there
That
is
was
always
below
been-
the belt.
there is a little bit of truth to that, a little bit. Not gonna, cause a big argument in the chat here. I see Dougal's already saying shots fired. The P-51 Mustang was a dud. It was not a good plane in the beginning until in a great example of international cooperation between the Allies, the British licensed and gave the design to the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine to the Packard Company in the United States. And Packard mass-produced Merlin engines, and they swapped out the previous engine that was powering the Mustang with the Merlin, and after that change, then the Mustang became a huge success.
Yeah.
But in its initial configuration, it was not a good aircraft. The engine it had was underpowered, and it was only after they used the British-built, from the Spitfire, among other aircraft, the Merlin engine, that the Mustang became good.
Don't switch to me at all, because my sim just say I've got a point.
Oh.
I will be right back. I'll probably come in at child break.
Yeah, Alex's early P-51s were notoriously bad. Yeah, absolutely. And I do think it is sort of a neat story of international cooperation between the Allies, that the British donated the design to the Merlin engine, and then America built it by the Packard Company to power several of their aircraft.
I don't know how them. Oh, okay. I suppose they're flying in the ornithopters. I was just. How did they manage to land at that castle in like the front garden? The bird would take off. That's how it did.
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah. Very easily is the answer.
Yes. Yeah, it's amazing. Like when you think about, that Merlin engine, Rolls-Royce, like how that powered so many aircraft, right? I mean, from the Spitfire to the P-51. Didn't they have it in the Hurricane as well? And of course
They
the
did.
Lancaster.
Yeah, the Lancaster Hurricane, the Mosquito. It was
Mosquito,
basically the
yeah.
workhorse of
Yeah.
almost every famous British aircraft from the World War II era, powered by the Merlin. Then later the Griffin, which was even better than the Merlin, but that didn't show up until rather late in the war. Now I'm going to switch to my point of view just for a second. I've got a photo here. I took this in Reno while I was there. This is the actual P-51 Bunny, and you can see with its red tail marking. This is now a race plane, but it formerly served with Tuskegee Airmen. And again, if you are watching Masters of the Air, I'm sure they will make an appearance in a future episode. It's pretty neat to be able to see this plane from up close
Yeah.
like that.
That's beautiful. I remember I was out in Duxford a couple of years back, and they have a P-51 out there amongst, a very, very fine collection of both flying and just static aircraft. But it's when you get the chance to stand up close to them, and like the cockpits are tiny, and the aircraft itself, like there's you're really in the elements there. It's you have a canopy, and that's about it.
whistle sound live is amazing. Yeah, after it's 3 years in a row now, I've been lucky enough to be able to attend the Reno Air races, and during the unlimited class races, when you hear the P-51 screaming past, of course you get the Doppler effect of
It's funny to see
that kind of
everybody
thing.
flying together at the
So
same,
absolutely unmistakable
roughly the same
from
location.
own engine.
Next stop is a quick, well, touch and go
Oh, I got another POV.
at
Allison, maybe you can tell us
Heathrow
what this is. I'm not sure myself. It looks like a very fancy estate home.
Glenham Palace.
before we then make our
Have you been
final
there as well,
stop,
Allison?
which is actually not too far away,
Yes. Famous
in
for
London
the
City.
Duke of Marlborough's,
I'm actually flying into London City on Monday
after back in Blenheim.
for work,
Also
so
famous for
I'll be going there for real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. There's also the if you're into your detective series, it was shown in the first episode of Morse.
So we'll get a rough estimate for how long it's going to take us to get to Heathrow in 15 seconds.
That used to be brilliant.
Yeah, it did. I didn't realise how literally I thought I'd watched it back recently and he literally hits on everyone all the time. I was very surprised.
About 10
There's a
minutes.
lot of old television and movies that we loved when we were younger, that if you watch them with a modern lens and modern sensibilities, you kind of think, eee.
No, they're still hilarious.
That certainly is not appropriate today.
they're still hilarious.
Behaviors were common at the time.
I prefer
I mean,
older
Mad Men
TV
seriously satirized
because
by depicting what
it was
a
allowed to be funny, it was allowed to tell jokes, and now nobody has a sense of humour,
And we look at if you've seen Mad
and
Men,
everybody's too soft.
did people really behave like that to their coworkers? And the answer is yes, they absolutely did.
You know, the city of London, the 80s where I worked. I mean, you could shout, scream, throw books at people. Not that I ever did anything like that. Somebody did mess up on a brief that we took before the Inland Revenue Commissioners, and I launched the Income and Corporation Taxes Act as amended 1980 down a corridor and caught someone.
I see a runway.
Messed up. It was.
It's gonna be mine.
And if you look up how thick that book is, there was a clonk. Can't do it now.
Couldn't do it then.
The days that if you didn't fall asleep in the office, you weren't working hard enough.
Like some of the sitcoms, you're right. Like it's only when you start thinking, yeah, like you can't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of them that you couldn't watch now.
Yes, you can.
Never get away with now.
You can still watch them, they're still funny. Don't listen to these guys. If you got a sense of humour, go back and watch the old TV shows, they're amazing.
Our next waypoint is going to be Heathrow, and 27 nautical miles away. Touch and go there. How's everyone else doing on that flight plan?
I'm afraid I can't come back in. It's a keeps crashing. But I will watch and chat. Oh no. I might have got it this time. Where are you going? Heathrow.
Heathrow, yeah. I'm relatively
How far are you
close.
out?
Probably about 30 miles. 20
We're coming in hot on this one. I am actually going to go for just a touch and go.
Maybe switch off the radio.
Sterling says, "What's the world coming to when you can't throw books at your coworkers now?"
Right.
I work at home, I can't throw
That's the
books at
downside of
anybody.
paperless office, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you have to throw monitors.
Here we go.
I did once pretend to, I had a MacBook in my hand.
Oh, floating down the runway, float, 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 float. Oh,
the
head
moves
wheels
and
down.
boom,
Wheels
it
down,
crashed
flaps
like
up,
this.
full
And I
throttle,
let
let's
go
go.
of it By mistake,
dear.
it slipped out of my hand, and it only missed his head by like a whisker. I was like, oh Jesus Christ!
That's
Now,
Ali,
did you
Ali.
damage
As
the MacBook?
fast as we can on the ground,
No, it was fine because of course it's aluminium, but I couldn't take his head off with it.
just for a
Ali,
laugh,
remind
because
me
we're having some
never,
fun.
Ever to get you angry
Up,
in person.
up and away.
with you,
Or
which is
when you're
apparently
reading.
already enough.
With a big book.
Yeah, but I was only messing about, but literally it just flew out of my hands. Nearly hit him. That would have been sad.
So, I will confess.
HR, if you're watching, it never happened. I've just.
Yeah. I will confess. At a previous job, I have purposely thrown a laptop, but there's context. It was with permission. I went to the office, and one of my colleagues was there. He was doing some work in the office. He's usually a remote worker, and he had this
Did I take the gear up?
Interesting
No, I
looking
didn't.
laptop. I've never seen anything before. And I said, what is that? They said, oh, it's a Panasonic Toughbook, which if you're not familiar, it's a very ruggedized laptop. I said, oh, what's that? And then he
I like
explained
how I had to
to me
look
that it's
outside for
for
that rather than just looking
field
down at
supply
my
workers
gear.
who need a very tough piece of equipment that can
It's been a long
withstand
week, guys.
abuse when you're working outside in the field. And he said to me, he said, pick it up and throw it. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, just pick it up, throw it at that wall over there. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yes, absolutely. So I was like, okay. And it was powered on, like it was running. He was working on it. It was powered on at the time. I was like, do I need to close the case? He was like, nope, just do it like that. And so I was like, all right, if you say so. I actually did. I was smart enough. I got a third-party coworker. I said, look, I want you to record this on video, and I want you to get video footage of him giving me permission to do this before I do it. And so we did. And then I picked up his laptop, and I threw it, and it went flying across the room and hit the floor and the wall and bounced around. Powered on, running applications. And then my coworker walked over, picked it back up, put it on the desk, and continued working as if nothing had happened.
Crazy.
Was this
Crazy.
the time of spinning artists?
This would have been 2010 or 2011.
Somebody's
So
flying
yeah,
right below me.
certainly,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there were SSDs back then, but it's quite likely that this particular laptop had a spinning hard disk.
Yeah, it's a good job it didn't get dead, isn't it? In the actual disc, you know?
Virtual
See,
Aviation
fans
Adventures
out
said, did they have permission from the IT department?
Wow.
Well-
You don't tell it.
No. That's the thing, Virtual Aviation Adventures. We were the IT department.
I needed a new laptop many years ago. And
I don't know why that guy's landed on a field, but
years old, and
Drunken
mine was so rubbish.
Day-Day,
I accidentally left
probably a
it
good name for
on
his
the keyboard and then slammed it.
account if he's landed in a field like that.
One day. Got my new laptop. I don't encourage people to do that, by the way, but it did get me a new laptop.
I molested 2 laptops in my career. One I bought, genuinely. I took it out of the closet and it was just slipping from my hands and it fell on the floor and the screen was shattered. And one time I was very frustrated with the programming problem and then it crashed again and I threw my mouse away, which hit the laptop right in the screen and also crashed the full LCD screen. Yeah, so then I had to go back to the IT department and explain why my screen was shattered. Well,
Very
because,
nice skill.
Nightmare.
because a mouse flew in it.
So, having worked in the IT department earlier in my career, I've seen my share of used devices that have come into the shop for repair or replacement.
Wow, look at them all.
And again, I'm not dealing with just the general public. These are professional, quote unquote, office workers who should know better. The worst one I saw was someone who brought in a laptop that had been smushed and there were like imprints of the keyboard in the display and this display was all cracked and shattered. And we said, well, what happened? And they said they checked it in their in-flight
Yeah.
luggage.
Yeah, I knew it was
in a
airplane related.
non-protected case. Just, oh, I
Yeah.
thought my clothes would take care of it.
Yep.
I was like, why would you put a laptop
It's
in check
so
that?
bad when you're flying with technology. Keep it in front of you, put it in the seat under the front of you.
Don't,
The air hostesses will cram bags in those overhead lockers. They don't give a damn about your laptop getting smashed when they do.
have a hard case.
Keep it with you, put it in the seat, under the seat in front. Only for things you don't care about in the overhead locker. I've lost a laptop or two doing that.
Heathrow and kind of stayed quiet because there was a guy just now flying Concorde, but his approach looked to be, you know, a chartered approach. This guy was on an ILS or something, and like then, you know, 50 planes show up. We're all like, hey, whoa, look at this.
And he just had 12 hours of
Poor Dibble probably took off from New York and just made it next thing.
Oh my god. Stop having fun! If he's lucky, he's on the light players.
Forecourt Quentis, previous place I worked at, the IT guy got a laptop back with tire prints on it. The user claimed they got it that way.
Sure.
So,
Yep.
pro tip from my IT days, whenever we issued equipment to users, we would always, like renting a car, we would always have a sign-off form where they would indicate the condition they received the device in. And we also took a photo and put that photo on file. And when they returned it, if they claimed something like that, oh, it was like this when I got it, we'd be like, oh, really? Because here's a photo of the condition it was in when we gave it to you, and here's your signature acknowledging that this was the condition that you received it.
So, yeah.
So yeah.
I don't really know what's going on there, but it kind of feels like somewhere I want to land on.
Have you got this wet? No. Open it up. It's literally swimming in cola. Literally swimming.
I'm glad he clarified.
No.
Lucky.
I guess
Go in your
it's not
place.
water, no, but it's worse, right?
Come on, pup.
That's
Go in your place.
Yeah, it's way
using shorting everything out.
Lipstick says, you guys saw
I think he realizes he has to stay on camera. You have to stay on camera.
This is a true
That's how we
story. I
get
did see this
treats.
article. There was a Delta Airlines flight where
You can only have them
in the overhead bin put rotting fish
when
in
number
cargo
go up.
luggage.
Because they can, of course they did. Jesus.
And
Oh.
midway through the flight,
Here we go, coming in for our touch and go at Heathrow.
and a bunch of maggots started spilling out of the overhead compartment. And so the
Gear
hang on,
down.
Look at this. I've got Windsor Castle to my below me here. Like that. Very cool.
Autopilot off.
Yes, this flight had to about an hour. It was a transatlantic flight, and about an hour in, it had to turn around.
I think he can tell he's on camera. I don't know how he knows, but I think he, well,
There were maggots.
there's a massive camera above him, but he's not a YouTube star. He doesn't want to be anyway.
All right, now I'm gonna
Lucky,
turn
go in your
on. Is
place.
anyone really close to touching
Place.
down? Let me know if I need to switch to your POV.
Okay, bye. Yeah, I'm about to touch down,
I'm just past
but he's not got my POV.
Only because I had to load in just beyond.
Down.
40 seconds out, so I guess I'm a bit too high.
Don't look at mine whenever you do.
Sorry,
Yay! Chutney!
Oh,
I was.
oh, he did it better than me. He landed it on the grass. Just completely screwed it up.
I was like, I'm getting away with it. No one can see it. No, you've all just seen it.
All right, F's in the chat for Merv. Don't feel bad. I had an absolutely atrocious landing on the screen.
This will be a good one. I feel this will be a good one for us.
So, we've all
Do you
been
know what
there.
I did?
No one's clipped it at all, Murph. No
But
one.
listen, my landing rate was beautiful. Touch and go. I mean, textbook.
Wow, we're all coming in.
I over-revved, I over-torqued the engine, and it just said, no, we're not having this. I started checking fuel. I was like, why have I no power? Oh. Later that day, he realised he was like, oh dear, have we fixed it? Maintenance, I suppose.
Cheers,
Engine was
Surly.
damaged.
Surly Dev is the king of flipping. So you've had it now, Murph.
Alright, once again, I'm coming in way too high. I was not planning this appropriately. We'll do another somewhat aggressive forward step. Alright, this looks better now. Alright, recover.
That was the story of my career when I flew for real life. I
Hopefully
would forward
feel
slip
better.
every approach. I don't know why.
Oh, there's a dark star. Is that Hex? It is indeed Hex, making his first appearance on
Oh, does it not count if I don't do a full stop?
Dark star at London Heathrow.
I'll just land in the back and turn the final out.
Alright, 2 white, 2 red. Oh, a little bit too low now on the Pappies. 09 left at Heathrow.
I don't know what happened. It didn't count when I stopped either, so I don't know what happened there. Wow.
Better CD?
Yeah, better than the last one. There's the flare.
And very short final.
Alright, there's my touchdown. Alright, switching to Peter. Alright, that was a much better landing than my previous one.
Look at this. I mean, my computer's jumping all over the shop. Take a screenshot there. Jumping all over the shop. There's too many planes it's trying to handle here.
Alright, I'm gonna hand fly the rest of the way from Heathrow to London City.
Look at them all behind me. Gear up.
I do have payware scenery for London installed, so if you would
Wow.
a little bit different than some of yours.
Just look at all those other pilots. That's insane.
I have, if I remember correctly.
I would hate to be the air traffic controller
Remember which one it was now.
on this. Let's get altitude
It's
and
like
everything
the
back
very
under
first
control. Let's get our track back under control.
shortly after Flight Simulator launched back in 2020.
And we're coming in now for our final landing of the day in approximately 3 minutes. London City.
Allison, so you got the curving bends of the Thames in sight.
Indeed. Used to work down in southwest London, down in Wimbledon. Most of the 90s. I've been all over the shop, have you noticed?
Are we doing ILS 27 or 09?
Chat, Dougal's saying 27 if you're using live weather. I think 09 if you want to do a straight in approach. Probably
Yeah, exactly.
viable.
27 is the real one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the tricksy one is the 09.
Is it?
Yeah, because you've got to come in very high. Normally.
Let's do that then.
I'm just going to follow the river, and I hope I should be able to see Battersea Park power plant. Which, if we have any fans of prog rock music from the 1970s, you may get the significance of that, recognize it.
Yeah, there's Battersea Power Station on off my nose, but interestingly, it's got smokes coming out of it. It doesn't do that anymore.
Yes. Any flying pigs above it?
You can see the Shard. Houses of Parliament coming up on the left.
We're going to go straight in for our London City approach.
Last time I was in London was 2014.
See if we can. Last time I was in London was about 3 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, so I know I've definitely not been a tourist.
And I'll be in London on Monday.
Yeah, it's been
And there's the,
oh, it's 10
the
years
famous,
now.
just down there is the famous Chelsea Hospital, where the Chelsea Flower Show takes place, and where the Chelsea veterans are looked after.
So, welcome to London.
Lumpy is saying the Chinese
this
restaurant
tower here.
in the Shard is excellent.
How
Millbank
many
Tower.
floors is it again? Like 90 or something? Oh.
Something, yeah. Sage, the accounting company, have offices there now.
Long Hall says 72 floors in the Shard. It's the tallest building in London, right?
I'm wondering if I need to climb a little bit,
AITW says the
or
Shard
if I'm
is
okay at my 1,500.
I remember seeing it though.
We should be okay at 1,500.
Call it being
I really don't need my screen to turn off as I'm about to come out of land. That would be not ideal. You can tell I've been working here all day. My screens are like, we need to turn off.
7 or 09.
Your choice. I'll probably do the straight in approach to 09.
Sounds cool.
2 minutes.
Your walkie-talkie. And a gherkin.
Gherkin's one of the coolest looking buildings in London, in my opinion, from an architectural standpoint.
You see a bunch of people trying to fly down the
Special, certificates
the
for flying
Thames.
to London City, don't they?
They do,
I believe
yes.
that's correct, yeah.
Because it's an extra steep ILS approach.
It is, yes.
I'm passing Battersea Park right now.
27 active. Ha! I'll go to 09.
Runway in sight. You would always approach this from the other direction.
I had an office on the third.
Pretty much in real life. because yeah, it's too steep an approach for most
House
people.
of Parliament, Big Ben, Eye of London.
Actually, got to keep the clearance of all the buildings in London, and then basically drop it
If you're
in.
on short final for London City, let me know. I'll switch to your POV.
My crash was so hard and damageful, it actually stopped the simulator. I had to restart it. Such was the realism of the impact. It was just all wrong. It was grand, floating. Fine.
I should not multitask as I come into approach. We learned that on that
Just past the
crash
Shard,
and go
I've got
that we
Tower
did.
Bridge in sight.
2 miles
HMS
final.
West Line for Alice. Oh, I'm already on your POV, okay. Also
Oh.
passing HMS Belfast, which is a famous museum ship, World War II era light cruiser. You can
Doing
visit in
fine.
London. You enjoy naval history.
Let's drop it down, drop it down, drop it down.
And if you ever do get to visit,
Full flap.
be mindful of your head. I backed my head on that thing so many times. The doors are so low.
And we're down.
I've got the O2 Arena in sight, which is a good visual reference that I should be lining up for final into London City.
It wasn't GoldenEye, but there was a James Bond that they had like a big action scene on the Thames down by that stadium.
Scale so runway.
Yes.
Yeah, World is Not Enough, I think. Was that the one that had the car that turned into a boat and then they went on like a boat chase
Car
through the
thingy.
Thames?
Yes.
Everybody's parking up to try and watch the parking the landings.
Right.
Alright, Allison just touched down. I'm on a kind of a long final now. I'm a beam to the O2 right now, so a bit of a longer final.
My trim just work.
Well, that's it. That's our final landing of the day. So thank you
okay,
for
switching away really quickly.
joining us.
I didn't tear into anyone.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Community Fly-In Friday. Just keeping an eye on everybody coming in. But I think for the most part,
Alright, I'm on
people are down.
medium-ish final now.
I'm on very short final.
Oh, are you? Looks like you're further out than I am.
I'm touching down right now.
I think maybe your stream might be delayed.
Oh, is that again? That's shitty. Yeah,
It's gas, right?
The Dark Star landing right in front of me.
You'll fly during the day. I don't know.
It's just funny seeing everybody come to park up here
It's like
to watch the landings.
different experience.
Like, this is not what would happen in real life. I hate that. That squeaking.
Alright, there we go. Touchdown in London.
Nicely done.
Right on the center line, too. Look at that.
He's not showing up on mine.
Not quite perfectly on the center line, but close enough. If your left wheel is to the left of the center line and your right wheel is to the right of the center line, I think that counts.
Yeah,
That's
it's fine.
Oh, here we go. Let's take a picture with everybody as we landed in London for tonight.
Yeah, I see you on the ground now.
Okay, yeah, too bad.
Alright, I'm just gonna pull off the runway and park next to Hex in the Dark Star. Alright, parking brake is on.
And with that, I think I'm going to call it a stream. So
Okay,
thanks very much,
well,
everybody.
Look at this on Alice's doing
Have a great weekend if I'm
Pelican.
not back
Folks, this brings us
streaming with you. And I will see you next week. Thanks again. Take care and good night.